Well, this was a very fortuitous and totally accidental meeting. I was a campus correspondent on the staff of the Ithaca Journal, the regular afternoon newspaper in Ithaca. And I was there to interview and write about visitors to the campus, lecturers, important people who happened to come to town. And I got a call from the managing editor one day telling me that the illustrious Chinese scholar, Dr. Hu Shih, and a graduate of Cornell, class of 1914, was coming to campus. This was in 1936, in the depths of the Depression. I had a little Ford car, fortunately, at the time, so I was assigned to go down to the Lehigh Valley Railroad Station and wait for the train and find Dr. Hu and escort him to his place where he was going to be staying, and that was the Telluride House. So I went to the Lehigh Valley Station, and I thought, now, this man is 45 years old or something. It was as old as my father. I was 18. And I thought, well, he'll be an elderly gentleman. You know how we thought about everybody. Well, I didn't find any elderly gentleman, but I found a very energetic, bouncy, enthusiastic man who got off the train, and I introduced myself, and sure enough, it was the illustrious scholar from China. I told him that I was there to escort him to his lodgings at the Telluride House and also to ask him if he would submit to an interview, and he said yes. The Japanese had recently invaded Manchuria, and the devastation was just awful. And you can read about that in the history. And Hitler was rampaging in Europe and had just created the Anschluss with Austria. And in the course of our conversation, Dr. Hu said to me, in the absence of almost miraculous leadership, this Japanese invasion of Manchuria will lead to a general world war. Now, that was 1936. In 1939, 3 years later, Hitler invaded Poland, and Europe erupted. And 2 years after that, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and we were in World War II. But it affected me in a number of ways, in addition to its historic significance. I believed what he said, and when I had finished college at Cornell and gone to graduate school at Harvard, I didn't ever buy into the isolationist point of view. I knew that we were a world nation and that this was one world and that we were going to be in this conflict ourselves. And so I left my graduate studies before completing them to get into journalism, become a reporter in San Francisco and an editor in Washington. And it was all, I think, not entirely, but to a large degree, stimulated by this vision of what lay ahead. Not a very pretty vision, but a realistic one. And I credit Dr. Hu Shih for that in my life, and of course, obviously, for his influence on the rest of the world.